Hello, boys and girls. This is the beginning of something a little weird and new. And by that I mean something that everybody has already done. Let's get this out of here. There's not going to be music for this, so I don't want to set the precedent that this is going to be anything but a podcast-style stream where I'm just going to be talking. I get a lot of questions about Jojo. People like to talk about Jojo. I thought this would be a good way to, like, just get it all out of my system. People do complain that I talk about Jojo too much during, like, streams and stuff, and while I find it difficult to apologize for that, I don't know, I'm going to talk about my interests. I thought this would be a good way to sort of Jojo dump. The chat is basically just full of people saying which parts are the best. Which is about what I expected. This is a very highly exposed series these days. So I guess I should preface this by saying there will be spoilers. This first one is just going to be about Phantom Blood. I'm going to go through the parts in order, and I'm literally just going to, like, I have a file open of all the parts. Or I have, like, a web page open that's just the manga. I'm just gonna, like, scroll through the manga. I'm gonna skim a lot of it, but I'm gonna talk about, you know, the important parts. And just random shit that I want to talk about. But will there be spoilers for later parts? Probably not. And if there are, I will mention it. I really don't think I'm going to be doing much talking about other parts, although there will be. There will definitely be some. Yeah, it's JoJo January, I guess. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Sure. Can we do a straw poll? I'm pretty sure the prevailing opinion is part 7 is best. I'm not saying I agree with that. That seems like the most common one. So yeah, I'm gonna go through the Phantom Blood, and people shit on the Phantom Blood. I keep putting a "the" in there. I think that's, like, conditioning from Phantom Menace. But, basically, I'm gonna go through the whole part. Like, again, skipping large chunks, but, I just want to give my overall opinions, and I've been kind of debating how to do this. Like, at first I was like, do I just want to talk about stands? But then I was like, that's kind of boring, and that leaves out, like, the actual characters. So we're doing all the parts, all the way through. It might take me fucking ages. Oh, shit. This is a starting stream image for use next week. You guys will see when that gets used. Get this fucking shit out of here. But I guess spoiler warning for part 1. Slight gore warning. There's, like, cartoon gore and maybe some slight titty. I don't think there's any, like, nipples, which is, like, the arbitrary limit. And I don't think there's any dicks in part 1, although I might be remembering incorrectly. There's dicks in later parts. Oh, there's dicks. There's dicks that I'm not going to be comfortable showing on stream because they're, like, cartoon, like, child dicks. Anyway, we'll get to that eventually. Just don't worry about that. So yeah, I'm gonna go through the parts. And there's nothing you can do to stop me. You know what? I'm going to stretch the screen here. I think this is probably the best way to do it. So I'm not going to do the Japanese version, but this is just the cover pages for part 1. And look at how young Araki is. People say that Araki doesn't age. Hold on. Let's look at, like, Araki, like, nowadays. Like, this is a fairly modern picture. He does look older. He definitely does. Oh, by the way, this was the opening. I'll put a link to that in the description, too, though. I don't know if I'm going to edit this. I might edit this. I have no idea. But yeah, look at Araki. Araki is baby in this picture. Like, he's so young. He looks like he's, like, 17. And I don't know. I will talk about the anime, but this is going to be mostly focusing on the manga, which is, like, seen as the closest thing to his actual like vision or whatever. I don't think Jojo is a perfect series too. I want to preface, like, I'm not saying that this is a stellar part or anything, but it's the whole series is just batshit insane, if nothing else. So I guess I should stop talking about the broad overall thing and just get into it. But so yeah, this is part one. You may notice if you've watched the anime, this is Jonathan, and he does not look like that in the anime. Jonathan anime. Oh god. Oh god. I'll get into memes. I'll show you guys some memes along the way. Don't worry. There will be memes. But Jonathan looks really different. Like, he's got blue hair, and not super different. Mostly the blue hair. He didn't initially have blue hair. He originally is just a brown-haired beb. Dio still looks like Dio, though, to be fair. And I won't go through all of these, but before a lot of chapters, Araki likes to put just a little, like, shower thought here. This first one, he sort of lays the groundwork. The theme of the work is living. I want to examine two ways of living. Yada yada. The battle between human and non-human was made for your enjoyment. I hope you like it. What a nice guy. But he likes to put little just like random things. Like that one was an introduction to the series. But down here, he just puts like little random stories that I guess he felt were pertinent. I don't know. But some of the artworks, one of the things about the manga is just the artwork is insane. Like Araki, even in his early days, the artworks are so just like insanely detailed, and you could say that these are like cluttered designs, but I think he makes them work, even with like the ridiculous proportions. And we will see some fucking poses later on. We will see some insane poses. You know, you might think this is, if you've read part 2 or seen part 2, you might think this is Joseph and Caesar, but it's Jonathan and Dio just in really weird clothes. Like this one, he's like, if my house was on fire, what would I take? And he's like, I wouldn't take anything, except one thing. You'll just have to wait till the next volume. Ooh. So, yeah. This was, it's worth noting that this isn't the first thing that Araki ever produced. I'm gonna need to take sips of water for this. Holy shit. He wrote Bao before this and some like cowboy poker manga or something like that. So he did have some experience, but this was still when he was relatively novice compared to the 30-year career he's now had. These not really a whole lot to talk about. I don't know why there's a picture of Araki in front of like a chicken market or geese or something. What does that say? Oh shit. Oh, it's zooming in threw everything off. Ganase. Ganas? I don't even know, man. I don't even know. He puts weird shit in here. And then he's, yeah, the thing that he would bring is his diary. Cute. Okay, we're just gonna skim through this. Let's get to the meat and bones. The actual manga. Someone says I can't wait for those anatomically impossible part 4 poses. We will see some shit in part 1. There are some incredibly anatomically impossible ones. Oh yeah, so part 1, this wasn't in the anime, but it starts off with a prologue that's like the Aztecs and the people who originally had the stone or not originally, but this is like hinting at the Pillar Men of part 2. Kind of. I don't know if Araki knew. He definitely didn't know that he was going to make stands when he was writing part 1. But I feel like he had a general idea of like the arc that he wanted to have. So it's a lady getting sacrificed, and that's the kind of like gore that we're going to be talking about. So like, it gets a little more extreme than that, but it's not too crazy. There's some fucked up gore, but it's like cartoony enough to deal with it, I think. And don't worry, I'm going through this part a little bit slow, but I am definitely going to skip some big chunks, so this won't take fucking forever. Hopefully. It might take fucking forever. I don't care if it takes fucking forever, actually. But yeah, this is a dude using the mask and becoming a vampire. It's kind of a cool scene. I kind of wish they had kept this in the anime. I don't know why they got rid of it, honestly. But whatever. The anime starts off, I think, with just the carriage crashing. And I think the anime did do a really good job. Like, the anime had weird choices in its character designs, and it kind of deviated from this earlier cartoony Araki style, but they did a good job of, like, sort of indicating the weight of that whole scene where Dario Brando finds the wreck of the carriage. It's like, this is, this is how the whole legacy got started. Oh, there's some kind of fucked up. Oh, God. That's some pretty fucked up gore, actually. Let's scroll past that. So I'm not going to do like a plot synopsis because, again, this should not be a substitute for reading the series, but I just want to mention the faces. You can get some really good profile pictures out of the faces in the background in part 1. Let's see, there's not a whole lot to say here. This guy, Dario's like, oh, there's no trouble. No need to withhold my name. Nothing could possibly come from that. It literally kickstarts the plot of the entire series. That, like, I mean, shit gets resolved over time, but it's still, that caused so much. Just telling him his name. And if you, I guess this isn't really a spoiler, but to any of you who've read part 7, the similarities between early part 1 and early part 7 are pretty, they're not super distinct, I guess. This is, part 7 starts off with more of this kind of tone. It's like, the 19th century, blah, 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 we're all black and white and crazy. Like, look at this, look at that! That's an amazing face. Take that and make it your profile picture. That is just a fucking wonderful face. I don't think it's ever established what even caused the carriage crash. It just was a random, like, slip. That's really what started it all. So yeah, that's Jonathan. This is like baby Jonathan. I think Araki was still good at making expressions in these early parts, but like, look at this goofy shit. He's got like part 6 mouth. That happens a lot in part 6. People will yell and their mouth just goes like, fucking like, does the Hotline Miami 2 shit. It is a little like stereotypical anime looking, like a tiny bit. It's got that like vintage anime look to it, or vintage manga. You know what I mean? Look at that fucking tongue though. That is insane. Get the Hotline Miami to tongue. Is that gonna be it? There we go. Exactly. He literally looks like that. Sorry, I got sidetracked. More gore. I don't think there's, like I said, I don't think there's any nudity in this first one. I have my censor bar, like, on deck right now for this. So, yada yada. Again, part 1 is a little cliched. It's like, oh, he gets beat up by the bullies, and then but he's defending the girl, and the girl's like, oh, how noble, what a cool guy. It is a little generic, but then the absurdity, like the insane shit, makes up for it. The like actual insanity. And like, look at he had a good grasp on poses, even back then, although some of the ones in part 1 are pretty fucking wonky. And like, look at this. Look at Jonathan going like, I love that face. He's such a dork. Like, one thing that I don't think they captured very well in the anime is that Jonathan is a total dork. In like, especially in early part 1. He's like, oh yeah. Don't worry about this, by the way. This is a part 7 character. It's not really a spoiler. This is just the JoJo's Colored Adventure team. I guess I should mention, hold on, I'm taking a drink again. Any games today? Yeah, I will stream Thomas Was Alone or some shit tomorrow. Or, not tomorrow, today. But for right now, Jojo. No game. I considered playing a very boring game, like the Game & Watch Galleries, or Viscera Cleanup Detail or something while doing this, but I was like, no, I want to actually have something visual on screen. But I should explain, the manga usually comes out in black and white, and then it's colored by fans, but the colored versions are very commonly used as, like, the definitive editions. Even though I don't think they're technically definitive. I think, actually, There's, it's like Jojo Veller or something. There's like re-releases of them. Okay, so we can skim through this part. It's, all the stuff that's happening in part 1, where Jonathan's getting decked on by Dio. This is a scene they didn't include in the anime, I think, where he looks at a picture of his mom, he goes, "Mother," which for some reason is in Japanese and has to be translated, even though this is translated, whatever. And then he fucking eats a chocolate bar like a massive dweeb. Look at that face. They totally should have put that in the anime. The hell? Anyway, sports! Oh right, we're gonna have the time jump and like look at Jonathan's body. I guess he kind of is a little buff when he's young, but he's like fairly scrawny compared to when they grow up. And his arm is just the size of a fucking tree trunk. And look at that face! Oh my god. That is the most apple-cheeked motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. Just great faces. He does it again. It's just the shape of his face. He's not like pulling a weird, like, goofy face. It's just the shape of his face. Yeah, black and white JoJo is a little difficult to follow sometimes. I have to be honest. I find it kind of difficult to follow because sometimes there's just too much like whack shit happening on screen at once. This is a great drawing. Look at the like detail. Like I said, Araki is a very talented artist. Like one of the things about the anime is it's good, but nobody could ever capture the detail on these drawings that's actually present in the manga. And I'm not saying they don't, this looks derpy. They look derpy sometimes. But like the motion, the action is very, very well done. And the poses, sort of the anatomy. But yeah, this is just the like ho-ho chums fight. I like all the like speed lines. Like I said, the motion is very well captured here. Dio sticks his fucking thumb in Jonathan's eye. Yada yada. Mustn't lose. Or wait, did I skip a chapter? Shit, I think I skipped a chapter. Yeah, Beloved Arena. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. Oh, they do this shit with Dio sometimes. Sometimes his hair will just explode off screen. Like when he's having a moment. And I know that's like an anime thing sometimes. Oh, there's Jonathan smoking a pipe, which they also removed from the anime. That's a classic profile picture. I've like seen that one used. Oh, and that is too. Look at that! Oh, I forgot how many magical faces are in part 1, honestly. Arena doing weird shit. Oh, they're eating the grapes. Hold on, I have a meme. I have a meme for this. This is the classic. This is gonna be how you guys will get your anime fix. Is by me putting up memes that come from the anime crowd. Yeah, it's like, what even was he smoking? There wasn't really smoke coming out of that pipe. Oh, never mind, there was. For a second, I was like, he was just like holding it there. So yada yada, they fall in love. For some reason, he's pink in this one. So the color changes. They come into it later on a lot more, but in these early parts, the colors are a little more rigid. And again, that's not Araki's doing, really. He colors some of them. He colors some like cover pages and special edition shit, but for the most part, these are not. The coloring is not done by him. Also, I just want to mention that Jonathan likes spinning frogs around his head with a string tied to their feet. That's fucking brutal, man. What the hell? This is a good mood change when it's suddenly sunset. This is another thing, like, it's certainly darker in the black and white manga, but like, you really get a good sense for the mood when you get the like ominous sunset. Look at the hair, though. That is some insane shit. Both of them just like Dio's toe is in an electrical socket, and he's like transferring the electricity to Arena right now. Actually, can we? Okay, I want to talk about Dio, because like Dio is a fine character. Like he's a villain. so I know I'm not supposed to like really like him because he's like evil, but people seem to like Dio is like the meme gold for like Jojo bronies. You know what I mean? Like, this is a meme for some reason. I don't even know why. Somebody explain to me why. But people just love Dio. I don't even get it. Like anything where he says like muda muda or like re or whatever, people are just like, that's the good shit. And it's like he's a cool villain, but I just don't understand why he's so... Maybe it's because he shows up in multiple parts, but it's just so... It seems so extreme, the fandom for him. He is an active character, that's true. This is really cool. They do this effect a few times in part 1, and I don't think it comes back for other parts. But I like that eye gleam effect. And again, his hair is just going fucking insane. I think that's something else they didn't really do in the anime. Meanwhile, Jonathan's like, duh! I'm happy, I throw my shoe. What a fool. Oh, and this is the youngest we ever see Jonathan. He's like true baby. Whoa. Voice crack. Also, the first drawing, oh god, Danny looks fucking disgusting. He looks like a dude in a costume that's shaped like a dog. That's disgusting. I think this was actually another scene that was cut from the anime where Danny saves Jonathan from drowning, and that's how they like formed their bond. And it's like, I think there's supposed to be some sort of parallel here, because he'd throw small rocks at Danny, and then back in real life, I think he's being reminded of this because the bullies are throwing small rocks at him. He's like, oh, I feel like a dog. I don't know exactly what they're trying to go for there. Look at that. Look at that fucking face. He gets the emotion, but it's so extreme sometimes. In fact, the hair is just kind of doing crazy shit all over the place here. And here's their first, like, little baby fight where they just punch with their fists like fucking assholes. Oh god, I won't stop hitting you is a great line. Here's some kind of fucky perspective. I guess that's kind of the first, like, punch rush or whatever that would become a staple later on. Oh yeah, there's comments on these. And they're like, I want to see Dio get beat up more. Anyway, we're on a chapter that has a truly, like, legendary panel in it. This is when Jonathan goes from, like, Beefcake to, like, Beef City. He's insane. So, yada yada yada, his last wishes. So, the dad's getting poisoned. Jonathan's like, oh, I think Dio's poisoning him. So he's gonna go check on... Actually, hold on, did I miss a chapter? I think I missed a chapter. Right? No, mustn't lose. Oh, it goes from official color scans to just V2. They're unmarked. I skipped a few. Right, we were on Dio getting his shit kicked in. This is the panel! Oh! Diagram this shit. Anatomically, explain to me what's happening here. This is one of my favorite panels in the entire series. And it's so ridiculous. This isn't even like the beefcakiest he ever gets, but what is that leg? What is his fucking leg? And then it shows here, so he was, I don't have a face cam or anything, but the punch is like coming in from the right. He's like screaming in from the right. And then it shows over here, he like curves it off to the right. So it kind of was like a wave punch. It's the try to choreograph that and you will just fail. You will completely fail. His leg is coming out of the center of the small of his back. His pelvis has been reduced to dust. Oh, it's so good. And that's the punch that sort of kickstarts the whole like stand thing, really. Technically, kind of. Yeah, is that his bulge? Somebody said his bulge is just sort of standing out there. I don't even know. If this was accurate, his bulge would be like somewhere around here, like behind his head. But anyway, yeah, Blood gets on the mask. Dio pretends to be a sad boy. That's the closest we get to like actual emotion from Dio. And then, oh, here's some shit they won't show you in the anime. Fucking, they didn't show Danny actually on fire, and he has his fucking mouth like tied shut so that he couldn't bark. That shit is insane. Araki is brutal, and Jonathan is thick. There's that eye effect again, too. This one's a meme. He remembered Danny's death and cried. Some people will put in like, he remembered Purple Haze feedback will never be animated and cried or whatever. That's a classic. So there's the first dead dog. Dio, just wait until John Wick gets you. So Araki has said in the past that the reason that he always has dogs get like brutally murdered in his manga is because he really likes dogs and is a huge dog guy, but he thinks to establish a villain, the just slapdash way to do that is to have him kill a dog. There's a bunch of like specific things that come up in JoJo a lot, like piss and shit, dogs dying, people getting their limbs cut off. These things just happen all the fucking time. Also, we're getting into the Jack the Ripper subplot of part 1, which I think a lot of people forget about. Literally, Jack the fucking Ripper is a character. Look at this. Look at this fucking shit. His proportions are so whack. You know what? Okay. Let's do an experiment. Let's do an experiment real quick. We're gonna determine exactly how beefcakey Jonathan is. All right? I actually have this prepared. I have this picture of him, this famous image. All right? I'm just gonna take his head, and we're gonna see how many Jonathan heads make up a Jonathan body. All right? We're just gonna real quick. I have a bunch of these. I have like 30 of these heads prepared. All right? And I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because there's parts of his body that are cut off in this panel. We could put more. We really could charitably put more. He's so fucking big and it doesn't make any sense. He's just an ox. All right. That in there. We're on 8 right now. This is 8 heads, and we've covered a single leg. Actually, hold on. We need something better for the... We need something like meme to cover up his crotch. Hold on. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. Alright, you guys want your fucking Dio meme? You want your fucking silly, ridiculous Dio meme? Here we go. Kono Dio da, laugh, you sheep! Laugh, you sheep! Let's put it, like, make him charitably, like, the same size as Jonathan's head. There we go. Sorry, continuing on. We're just exploring Jonathan's proportions here. I think I can charitably like put some off screen because like his legs continue to go. Like who knows how big his feet are? We're on 14 heads and we haven't even got past his like dick. That's the kneecap. I'm kind of scrunching him in. Oh shit! Fucking hold on. Stop it. Get some help. That was a mistake. That was a true mistake. Can somebody look up what the normal, like, human proportion is of, like, head to body ratio? So we can determine how much of a fucking, like, alien Jonathan is? There's the arms. We're getting to the arms, guys. We're on 22 heads. I'm pretty sure there's a Twitter account that just posts a picture of this panel, and they just shrink his head with, like, a tiny amount every single, like, time they post it. I'm gonna need to make more. I only have 36 of these heads. Actually, it might work out pretty perfectly. Like, what is 6 or 7? 7 or 8 heads tall. He's all mass, no sass. Ain't that the truth? I think it might actually work out pretty perfectly. Look at this. Actually, I might have had just over the amount that we needed. Oh my god. Yes. Okay, you know what? I'm calling that complete. So I was 2 over. There are 34 heads, not including the Dio head covering his cock. That is not a human being. This is not a real human person. Oh. This is actually kind of a masterpiece. This is like it's like a tessellating image. I'm saving it. Actually, hold on. Let's switch off so you guys don't see all my files. It might have personal information. Oh shit. Hold on, I need to force quit Adobe Premiere right now. Close the program. Yes. Adobe Premiere was actually on and freaking out at that time. All right, so that's what Jonathan is. That's what Araki thinks a human being looks like. I'll tweet it out. I'll tweet out that picture and I'll say only Jojo podcast stans will know. So look at his, again, look at that knee! Oh my god, that's at least like 20 heads right there. Right there. Look at that thick Dio ass. That butt cheek protrudes about like 10 miles. So yeah, the moment where they're kind of friends, but not really. Again, look at that fucking body. Dio does not look that buff later on. He, like, loses body mass when he becomes a vampire, I swear. Okay, we're gonna skip over some of this. He's learning about the poison. He's like, oh! I think a lot of people forget Jonathan is, like, a scholar, too. Like, he's researching the stone mask, and that's why it was a relevant thing. Look at his proportions are just insane. It like gets better over time too. Like certain characters lose body mass in order to like fit through fucking doorways. But right now they're just so bulky. So this is kind of, you know, classic stuff. They're fighting, he throws him over the banister. Yada yada. There's more of that sort of like, I guess it's, Araki does sort of do that later on. Like whoosh lines here. And these guys appearing in a fucking flash. But here. There's the panel in its full glory. Oh yeah, and he's going to a place called fucking Ogre Street, which for some reason Ogre Street has a face. This is never elaborated on. This is one of Part 1's weird things. Ogre Street literally just has a face. And he's like, it's so eerie, I'm even seeing monsters on the walls. You're not seeing things, there's literally a face there. There's literally a face. Also, first drawing of Speedwagon, what the fuck? I don't even know. He looks so goofy. And these two characters are like classic part 1 and part 2 shit. Just completely forgettable. I don't even know their names. Tattoo, sure. So I guess it's high time we talk about Speedwagon. He's another like sort of meme status character. And I can understand that more because Speedwagon is sort of presented to be like the audience surrogate sometimes, and he sort of just commentates events at times, and he's a very like wholesome guy after he stops being a hat slinging literally odd job from James Bond criminal. He becomes a very wholesome character, and he's got the 80s hair that I think makes him that much more likable. And also he knows the TF2 spy crab meme. How could you not like a man like that? So again, these early fights are they're a little boring just compared to the sheer insanity of like stand battles later on, but they're still pretty crazy. Like Jonathan just tanks this thing to his arm and then just doesn't give a shit. There's like literal zombies in Ogre Street. Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at fucking that guy. He literally just looks like a deceased man. He's got no nose. These are not zombies. They're just supposed to be human beings. These are just human beings who live on Ogre Street. I don't even understand. So yeah, now we have Speedwagon. Tell me your name, friend. I do like Speedwagon. Or as he's known in other circles, Speedweed. Let's get it up. Let's get it up. Put up the picture. Put up the famous picture. Speedweed. Oh god, the pixels. There's like, oh. This image has transcended dimensions. And now has like 3 pixels left to its name. Speedwagon. This guy looks like fucking Shigechi. And look at this! Okay, Dio's out drinking wine, and you may recall this scene from the anime where he meets these 2 like vagrants, and then turns one of them into a zombie. This guy literally looks like a vampire, like, or zombie or whatever, like vague Western mythical creature. Even before, he's just a normal dude, and he looks like a fucking vampire. Look at that, he's so nasty and weird looking. And this is before he gets turned into a vampire. Honestly, I'm going through this pretty slowly. Like, later parts, like from part 3 onward, I might need to do like multiple streams just going through this. This is a cool bit. I like how he draws like the buildings and the stones and the pavement sort of bending and warping. And this kind of looks like a meme, like the gleam on the eyes. It looks like he's coming for that booty, you know? And Dio, like a fucking idiot, is like, oh, I guess it just kills them. It's like, what were you fucking expecting? It's like, oh, it didn't even turn him into a vampire. And then he's like, oh, it did turn him into a vampire. And look at this, he's like, what is this? What happened to this guy? He literally looks exactly the same. He's just the guy. He's just the same guy. That's some pretty fucked up gore. But he's a zombie, so he can't feel it or whatever. Also, this kind of power is not shown by the other zombies later on. They do not punch that hard later on. And I know, like, Jonathan learns Hamon to, like, combat them, but even then, there's never anything like that later on. Okay, so he starts to suck out Dio's blood, but then Dio gets saved by Deus Ex Machina. Literally just the sun coming up. There's the lad. Oh my fucking god. Again, his head to body ratio is just insane. There's a lot of panels in part 1 that are just Jonathan looking at Dio looking at Jonathan. They're good though, because it shows their expressions and they change over the course of their lives. Fucking Speedwagon intervenes, then literally like this entire like crowd of people was just hiding behind a curtain this whole conversation. Not so sure about the logistics of that. This is a meme. Hold on. This is a meme. It just is for some reason. I don't even know. Sometimes it seems like this whole like Western audience just decides they're like everything with Dio is a meme. Oh no, he's turning into a vampire. Oh no, Jonathan's wearing AirPods. You can't warn him. Also, this is some fucking sick cover art. Actually, some of the cover arts are insanely good. Not too many in this early part. But later on, it's like, whoa. Also, Dio is now vampire. Also, Jonathan with a gun. I forgot there's a point where Jonathan just wields a fucking gun. Alright, Dio gets shot, etc. He says "re" for the first time. And he fucking, like, tears dudes' heads apart. Actually, did we miss the part where he just takes his hand and just chops a dude's head in half? Here's some severed limbs. We're starting to see the severed limbs come out. You know, I actually, a while ago, did a video, and this got taken down because it had great days in it, and I never put it back up or re-edited it. But it was every severed arm or hand in Jojo, and it was just in the anime, and it was just like up till part 4. Because part 5 wasn't out at that point. And I missed a ton of them. Like, I listed and showed basically every severed arm, and I still missed a ton of them, and that was one of the ones I missed, or a couple of the ones I missed. Die, monster! You don't belong in this world! That's basically that line. This is another good one. Is that holly? Actually, I don't know what that flower is. That might be holly. That would be some weird, like, pseudo-foreshadowing for part 3. Okay, so they have a fight. Jonathan gets a fucking, like, pike stuck in his shoulder. Dio grows 4 eyes. Or that's Jonathan. Yeah. Is Jonathan using Hamon right now, actually? Or is he just, like, brute forcing? I think he's just brute force smashing these guys apart. So yeah, he gets this shit stuck in his shoulder and just, like, shakes it off. Fucking burns his house down. Did you see Araki's poster for the Olympics? No, I didn't. This it? Oh, it's got... Is that Dio and... Or are these just people? I think these might just be real people, not JoJo characters. Paralympic Games. The sky above the great wave of the coast of Kanagawa. Okay. It looks awesome. Oh, is that like Aerosmith, kind of? And this guy looks like he's got Dio hair, but I don't know. He's also got no legs. I think this is just supposed to be a person. There's the stone mask. There's gold experience. You got... Is that Paper Moon King? Weird. There's Killer Queen. There's a ton of references, actually. Holy shit. I think that's the world. I think this is supposed to be Dio. Because they both have no legs. Yeah. Wacky. Huh. Well, that's cool. Yeah, Araki does stuff beyond... He draws things sometimes outside of JoJo for, like... I think he's got some works featured at the Louvre, like, for real. He's always associated with the fucking Louvre. And even set a Rohan OVA there once. Fucking Jonathan fighting with a sword like a badass. Dio sticking his feet into the wall to walk up the side. Fucking massive walk-in energy from that. Honestly, this fight is pretty badass. A lot of the Dio and Jonathan fights in part 1 are fucking awesome. Yeah, Araki is the artist and writer. I think, barring, you know, like editing and revisions and coloring and stuff, I think it's all Araki. Like, he doesn't even have understudies or anything like that. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But I'm pretty sure he does most of it himself. And that's why Rohan is such a, like, self-insert ass character. Oh, where's Goodbye Jojo? Goodbye Jojo! There it is. That was well done in the anime. Jonathan doing some stuff that you can only really do in manga time. Like, if he was really falling in real time, I feel like he couldn't have done this. That happens all the time in JoJo. The knife that you stuck in my father that has no blood on it. Father, give me the final power! He kind of seems whiny in that panel, but he's actually tackling a burning vampire. We really get to see Dio get fucked up here, damn. We get to see Dio get his fucking flesh burned off. Pretty insane. Pretty insane shit. Goodbye, Jojo. That's literally how he says it. Oh my fucking god, look at this pimpin' ride. I guess that's Tattoo. I guess we do see him again. But for like a second, and they have this badass car. Wow. There's a episode of the Venture Brothers that shows a bunch of like side villains just hanging out, and they have a vehicle that's really similar to that, and they kind of look like the same energy as that crew. Like, even now, Jonathan's proportions are slightly toned down, although he still is a fucking giant. Oh yeah, there's the Speedwagon withdraws Cooley scene, where he comes in and he's like, that bitch, and then he's like, oh, she's actually tending to his wounds. How cool. Speedwagon withdraws Cooley. Yada yada. They have a nice conversation. There's some like manga exclusive memes that you don't get from watching the anime. That's what makes it such a good experience. We got Dio coming back with his like crusty ass, like he's like Deadpool. This is like fucking Deadpool. Dio Pool. Is the guy named Tattoo You? I don't think so. Yeah, I know Araki has said that Rohan isn't a self-insert, but it's so obvious that it is. It's so obvious that he is, though. Like, I know Araki was probably trying to say, you know, oh, it's not 100% accurate. I don't go around, like, licking spiders or whatever. I don't know, this is getting into part 4 shit. Oh, Jack the Ripper! This scene makes no fucking sense. This is one of those scenes where I think it was just like a whammy moment just for a whammy moment. There's like this couple out and he's like, what? It's still early, let's go out. So they know each other. We have to hurry home. So like, they're a couple that are like established. And they like know each other well. They're not just on like a blind date or anything. It's not just a guy that she randomly met. And then she goes, oh, have you heard about the Jack the Ripper? Oh, he kills women. And he's like, I am Jack the Ripper. And then he attacks her. Like, what the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. He just, like, was pretending. Like, he fostered this entire, like, false relationship just for, like, the whammy moment of, like, he was just sitting there just, like, waiting. He's been waiting for years for her to, like, mention Jack the Ripper, and he's like, fucking boom, tear off the mask, I'm the Jack the Ripper, blah. It makes no sense. It's one of those moments where you're just like, okay, Araki, whatever. But yeah, Dio is fucking recruiting Jack the Ripper, Jack the literal Ripper. And now we got Zeppeli, or Zeppeli, I don't know how to say it. He has a different hat in his first appearance, and look at how different he looks from, like, the anime. Hold on. Oh, this is still weirdly zoomed in. Oh, and also we're getting pictures of Caesar and Gyro. Oh no. Don't worry, those are unrelated, kind of. Not really. He just looks so much less, like, whimsical. This was one of the changes that I felt like was kind of for the worse in the anime, is everyone was a little too handsome. And a little too, like, I don't know, it's hard to place it. The lines are a lot more, like, curvy and smooth in parts 1 and 2. And a little bit of part 3 and 4, too. But in the anime, they were very, I don't know, they made Zeppeli kinda ugly. But he's a badass. This is, you know, musical reference to Led Zeppelin. I think a lot of people actually don't realize that, because it's one of the more, like, esoteric ones, because it's like Zeppeli. It kind of sounds like a real Italian name. But, it is, in fact, a Led Zeppelin reference. Araki has said Led Zeppelin is one of his favorite bands. And later on, there are other Zeppeli characters, because I think he felt like in this first iteration, he kind of like wasted the namesake. So there are multiple other characters that come on later on that are in his like lineage. Mm. But yeah, I guess he's peppering his sandwich. Oh yeah, he has like a funny sneeze bit. I was gonna say, there's a great panel where it's him going like, Mamma Mia, and fucking sneezing at his sandwich. That's like the goofiest panel in all of part 1. Is the second Zeppeli sandwich sneeze. Does he do Hey Baby in the manga? I actually don't remember. But that's another great moment. That's akin to Goodbye, Jojo. Yeah, don't worry, we're getting to the frog punch scene. This is like, so you're reading part 1, right? You're like, okay, this is like, it's got its extreme moments, you know, the characters look weird, there's some like goofy shit going on, but it's not that crazy. And then the fucking frog punching scene comes in, where he like punches through a frog and breaks a stone in half, but the frog is unharmed, and you're like, wait, what the fuck kind of like force magic is this? It's Sendo, which is also Hamon, I guess. Pretty good shit. Pretty good shit. This is the part where you kind of go like, wait, what? This is like a goofy-ass anime. And you got Jonathan making flowers appear. I think I skimmed over this, but when Zeppeli shows up, he fucking like rams his fist into Jonathan's torso. Where's the panel of that happening? Shit, it might have been in the last chapter. But he fucking like sticks his pinky up Jonathan's like diaphragm and changes the way that he breathes, which they don't really expand much on later. Like, he does a similar thing to Speedwagon, and I genuinely think that's what gives Speedwagon, like, the ab heating power-up later on. Is his, like, magic pinky punch to the diaphragm. Oh. Diaphragm. Oh. Anyway. Sendo is the technique, and Hamon is the energy. Yeah, that sounds about right. So another time skip. A week passed and he's got different clothes somehow. I don't know, maybe he just like tore off his sleeves. We got fucking Zoom Punch, which is another goofy ass move. Where you fucking like dislocate your arm. And I think this flashback is actually the earliest chronologically we ever get to see. I guess, no, there was the Aztecs. There's like, we get to see like the Pillar Men times in like deep ancient times later on. But this is one of the earliest flashbacks. It's Zeppeli talking about his youth. And wait, hold on. Hold the fucking phone. So in this scene, he has a different hat. He's got the checkered hat, whereas last chapter he had a rainbow hat. So in a week, they got different clothes and he got a different, like, ridiculous top hat that's checkered now. But then in this panel, he's got a rainbow hat. What the fuck? And Jonathan's wearing his clothes from the past scene, too. I guess those might be just reused assets or some shit. I don't know. Oh, no. It's the flashback is to when he had the rainbow hat. So he's had this rainbow hat for ages. Or no, it isn't. No, this is in the present. That's just literally inconsistent. No, Araki just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Never mind, this isn't part of the flashback. It just changes to a rainbow hat. For a little bit. I never even noticed that. He's got two different hats, and when the camera's off of him, he's like quickly swapping them behind his back. Oh god. Oh yeah, and then I guess I forgot, but Zeppeli has daddy issues too. Daddy issues are a recurring theme, or just like parental dispute in general. I guess there's also mommy issues. There's another severed arm that I missed. They might not have even shown that in the anime. But his dad got like possessed by the stone mask, and they never even explain how that happened. They just say somehow discovered. So, you know, write your fucking fan fiction about that event taking place. That Obra Dinn shit. My father was vaporized by sunlight. I considered this. This is cool shit. I do like Hamon. A lot of people say that Hamon is lame in comparison to Stands later on. But Hamon is so versatile. It's just like, it's basically the Force. It's just like this wacky energy that you can use to do basically anything. This looks like some Fist of the North Star shit. And actually, okay, I should talk about Fist of the North Star. I've never read, but apparently it has a huge influence on Jojo. I've never watched the anime, nor have I read the manga, but I know that it has significant influence on the series. And I think specifically part 1 is like very Fist of the North Starry, to the point where I think parts of it were actually kind of a like homage by Araki, or at least it feels like, from the bits that I've seen. I mean, I've seen like clips, I've seen, you know, panels and shit. But from what I've seen, it seems like part 1 is the one that's the most similar. I don't know. Thoughts to think about. I might check it out at some point. I haven't read Bao either, or any of Araki's old work. But like things like the like magical life training, and like the big badass guy who does like rapid jab punches to defeat his enemies in weird ways. I think that's very a very significant influence that was brought over. But yeah, we got that guy getting taken down. That's a great cover art. Look at that. When Zeppeli and Speedwagon finally had their like designs established, because they kind of waver around a bit. Is this the fucking? This is the sword. Okay, here's another thing. This is like Ogre Street. This tunnel has a sword stuck in it. A single sword can be seen stuck into the inner wall, but nobody knows its origin. What the fuck? Is this real? Like, is this a real tunnel? I don't think it has a name. Wind Knight's Lot. Let's see if this is real. I actually haven't ever looked this up. I think it's just a JoJo thing, yeah. I don't think it's a real place. What is up with the fucking sword stuck in the tunnel? I don't understand what's up with that. Dark Souls. Is it foreshadowing Bruford? I don't know if it is. Because they're just some zombies that, like, happen to be buried around here. And Bluford already has his sword, or Bruford, or whatever the fuck it is. He has his sword during the fight, and he gives it to Jonathan. So who the fuck's sword was that? I want to know. Anyway, more of Dio's hair exploding, Dio eating a woman, fucking Jack the Ripper looking derpy as shit. This is the only fight where we get to see Zeppeli be a badass. Holy fucking shit. Not only did he cut off the head of one of their horses, he cut off the heads of all 4 of their horses. Holy shit. Jack the Ripper just fucking slides into these DMs out of a horse neck. And this shit. This is something that goes by in like a second in the anime. Maybe the most badass move in the whole series. Fucking sticks his finger in the bottom of a wine glass, or a wine bottle, to open it. That shit is so cool, and I can't even get over it. I feel like they glossed over that. Bruford. Alright, so he fights Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper's literally just like sticking knives into himself because he's a fucking twat. A little twunk. And we get to see Zeppeli actually like do some things. But then he doesn't actually beat this guy because he's like, oh, I just wanted to weaken him. For you to fight him, Jonathan. Like, look at this shit. He's having a swifty little like drink of wine while he fights this guy. Look at this pose. And tell me that Will A. Zeppeli isn't like the biggest G to ever exist. I fucking love this panel. Holy shit. He's just like casually having a swifty little wine too. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, but he gives a little speech like fear is the mind killer. Look at that! He's fucking 2-ton man. This guy. Oh. Alright, so we got the zombie getting fucked up. He's got a bunch of, like, ridiculous weapons in part 1, too. That just come out of nowhere and then leave forever. Like, who the fuck made this for Jack the Ripper? Also, great profile picture there. Honestly, any of these Jack the Ripper melting faces are great. Jonathan whoops his ass using the wine. Because Zeppeli was like, you need to kill him, but don't spill the wine. I think, is this the part where Speedwagon gets punched? Zeppeli's like, I can't teach you, Hormone. Because you're a scrub, basically. And then he fucking does the gut punch. So this is my stupid JoJo Part 1 theory. Is that when Speedwagon got the like hormone punch, he's like, I can make you, you know, create a tiny, tiny bit of hormone. And then later on, Speedwagon, like later on in this scene, really, Speedwagon uses his abs to like heat up a frozen limb. You know, we'll explain that later. But some people are like, oh, is this like a superhuman ability? I think it's because he got the hormone, like diaphragm punch. And now we got Poco. Fucking... So he's supposed to be possessed here, too. Or he's like brainwashed in some way or something. Which insinuates that maybe Dio rigged this like stupid trap where he like slings himself to steal their luggage. There's him fucking slapping his ass. I guess that's the closest thing we get to nudity. And then we got more Will Zeppeli being a badass and also a goof at the same time. This was... His little prancing walk was really well done in the anime. Sick panels. Holy shit. I love these comparison panels where they show their faces. Actually, like a surprising amount of emotion is put into them. Good shit. Yeah, he says he learnt it while traveling. Another sick title page. This looks like that Majora's Mask poster. We're getting up to the breads part. Oh yeah, so here's something indicative of something that'll be coming up a lot later, is just random zombies. So Dio is a vampire, but they also call him a zombie, and then the things that he makes are also zombies, but I think they literally call them vampire zombies later on. Also, Zeppeli's hat is back to being a checkerboard. Just like random-ass zombies coming out of nowhere, and none of them are punching with the strength of like 1,000 bricks or whatever, like that one guy was. Here we have the grossest panel in the world. And there's the breads! Actually, holy shit, this translation still says breads. Do you remember how many breads you have eaten in your life? It's a fucking, like, absolute classic line. That's a good moment, because that's just a bad translation, but it's so silly. It took me a second, like, when I first saw this to even, like, understand what was going on. I didn't even understand. I was like, why is he talking about breads? What the fuck is he saying with breads? But it's like, Zeppeli's like, oh, how many people have you killed to heal your wounds? And Dio's like, oh, it's as simple as eating a slice of bread, you know? But instead he says, do you remember how many breads you have eaten in your life? This is another sick panel. The poses are just crazy. And that balance, this rock should not be balanced like that. Here's the arm getting frozen. Oh, that is some kind of fucked up gore, actually. Jesus. His arm fucking explodes. Dio melts into the background. What the fuck is this panel? Oh, just draw the rest of his head. Idiot. Idiot. We're actually getting decently close to the end. This first one, I'm thinking is maybe going to be like 2 hours long-ish. Look at this shit. Jonathan just like leapt in to intercept a punch, and Poco is still hanging onto his back. He's just getting flung around at the speed of sound. Alright, so this is another cool fight, but I'll kind of skim it. Here's fucking Bluford and Tarkus showing up. Actually, what does it call them? I don't think it says their names yet. But Tarkus is fucking enormous. Like, he's way bigger than Jonathan. Tarkus is a literal giant. Like, absolute literal giant. I will call Bruford or Bluford whatever this manga calls him. Because different translations call him different things. Oh, here it is. Speedwagon heating up the frozen arm with his abs. What the fuck? I don't think he even says the, like, I learned it while traveling thing here. No. I think that might have been an anime original. Who's to say? What are we on? 27v2. Oh, yeah. Bluford and Tarkus are not Dark Souls references, of course, but I think Tarkus in Dark Souls is actually a Jojo reference, like Black Iron Tarkus. I think he is literally a Jojo reference. I don't think we have confirmation on this, but I think he actually is, or he's a reference to Tarkus, the Emerson and Palmer, Emerson and Palmer album, I think. What are their fucking names? So we got kind of like Yukako from part 4, like proto version with Bluford's hair. Look at that fucking sword! Look at Jonathan's ass! That is insane. Okay, now we're gonna talk about like actual history. Their backstory is all like tragic and soulsy, I guess. There's a fucking severed head. This battle is often criticized, like the fight with these guys is often criticized for being like boring or for being filler. I think it's not exactly filler, but it's also, it's not the finest. It's good though. They're fine battles. It's like, you know, early JoJo fights are good. He just scooped out that man's nose. Holy fucking shit. And then the nose said, "Urgh." Wow. I haven't even noticed if they say Bluford or Bruford in this yet. Oh, Bruford. Okay. They're saying Bruford. I'm gonna say Bruford. Oh, so this is something that they don't mention in the anime, but the like 77 rings is like a trial that warriors undertake where they have to like climb a mountain and they have to fight 77 dudes, and each dude has a ring, and they need to wear that dude's like ring around their body as they go up, and it makes their armor super heavy. Kinda badass. The fucking underwater fight. This is like one of the first like actual like JoJo like twist fight moments where he's like, I need to go up to the surface for breath, and Bruford's like, I'm gonna go catch him at the surface when he goes for breath. But then he goes down, because there's air trapped under the rocks, and he can get a gulp of air, and then use his fucking Hamon punch. Fuck yeah. And then he grows 2 extra arms. He becomes fucking Machamp. This is Jonathan as Machamp from Pokemon. Just put Machamp's face on there, please. Curse of the Dark Knight. What? Excuse the fuck out of me. Good pose. Bruford freaks out. Yada fucking yada. I think his name is a reference to the drummer in King Crimson, or one of King Crimson's drummers. Something like that. Look at his fucking sword going like whoopsh. That is a like rubber sword. Okay, yada yada. Yeah, we can kind of skim through this. Bruford dies. Okay, this part. This took me ages to figure out. I didn't understand this the first time I saw it. But Bruford's dying and he's like, your hormone gave me true life in my dying moments. He's like, I know, I feel at peace or whatever. Here, you can have my sword that says luck on it. Except I'm gonna write a P on it so it says pluck. And I never understood what that meant, because I thought it literally meant like pluck, like to pick something out of a set or whatever. But no, it means like pluck as in like the like old-timey definition. Like, I'm having trouble even describing it. Spirited and determined courage. That's what it's going for. It's not talking about literally plucking something. It's talking about, like, having the pluck, you know? Like, as a character trait. I never understood that when I first watched the anime, and it took me so long to, like, figure out what the fuck that meant. I just thought that was, like, some just insanity. That I was like, maybe it didn't translate well, or whatever. I think a lot of people don't like Tarkus, especially because he kills Zeppeli, you know, and that's a big rip moment. Poco, you little shit, come. Probably the best quote. Also, to those of you who are Part 7 fans, the character Poco Loco is supposed to be Poco in the alternate universe. Also, what the fuck? It's just like a pile of faces. They stepped on a pile of faces. I forgot about this scene, and look at that face! Ah! Oh my god. Tarkus, like, literal giant. This is a cool arena. This is kind of like an area from Avatar. I don't know if you remember Avatar, like after Zuko joins the group in Avatar, they go to like this hideout on the side of a cliff that's a similarly cool arena. Tarkus just fucking up some dudes. Oh my god, this is like in Space Jam, when one of the big aliens takes Michael Jordan. Wow, I almost said Michael Jackson. Michael Jordan and just like scrunches him into a ball and dunks him or whatever. It's kind of like that, but gory. Oh, he's wringing out their blood. Jesus fucking Christ. And we got the leaf, the leaf thing. The leaf glider from Grow Home or Grow Up or whatever. Grow Home. That's pretty cool. That's a good use of hormone. We got Zeppeli meeting Tonpetty, who is, like, this is one of the, like, worst parts of Part 1, is all these, like, side characters that I feel like Araki wanted us to care about a lot more, but they just show up for tiny, tiny bits of the series. They really don't have much impact, but then he, like, treats it as though they're, like, the main characters. They have this cool chain deathmatch, whatever. It's a cool fight. They're like chained together. This is another thing that's done in the Venture Brothers, actually. It might be a reference to this, where people are chained together by the neck in a dungeon. And I think the key to the collar is in the other guy's collar. I don't know, this is like an old ass, these are like the ruins of a society, and somehow this is still like a functioning arena, where everything's like perfectly set up. You got Poco's little story where he goes through the hole. A lot of people, so a lot of people like to say Araki forgot about characters that don't show up for like the entire part. Like whenever a character shows up for a little bit, and then they do some things, and then they disappear for the rest of the part. People are always like, "Oh, Araki forgot," but literally, Poco has like an arc. Like it has a flashback. It shows him like learning a lesson from his bitchy sister, and then getting the pluck to go forward, if you will. That's his arc. Like I don't know why people are like, "Oh, Poco needed to be in the rest of part 1." I don't know. Araki didn't forget. He just made a character and finished their arc, and then that was it. Oh man, Rip Zappelli. Also, it's back to being a checkerboard. I just want to mention his hat for a while now has gone back to being a checkerboard. And so here's Zappelli sort of learning of his fate. These flashbacks are at least well incorporated with the fight, because it gives more insight into Zappelli as a character. These 3 years of training. Master the ripple of the heavens. Hamon Beats debunking Araki forgot is really bad. Yeah, hard disagree. He does stretch for some things. In the Stone Ocean one, oh man, I won't spoil it, but there were some things where I felt like he was stretching. But so many of those are just like ridiculous things for people to complain about. Like people do truly say Araki forgot to just anything. Just anything that was slightly like vaguely communicated or anything that they just like forgot about themselves. Here it is. Rip. There's another severed arm, and also Zappelli is fucked. Rest in peace. F's in the chat. It's fucking cut in half by a chain. And I love how long Zappelli survives after getting cut in half. Like, he gets his arm cut off and his legs and pelvis cut off. But then he, like, supplants all of his remaining energy. He, like, transfers it over to Jonathan. He's like, there's all the rest of my life force. And then he's, like, still talking after he's, like, aged to death. Actually, no, he might be dead now. In the anime, he kept talking for a second after he had, like, aged and shit. And I was like, you are dead, sir. You are fucking dead. Yeah, this stream is only part 1. One thing that did kind of annoy me about Hamon Beats thing, I do love that series. I think it's justified that it exists. But, sometimes he just pretends that stand fights aren't, like, intentionally confusingly laid out sometimes. And, like, his whole indignation, he was like, how are people confused about the John Golly A arc at the beginning of part 6? I'm like, it's an incredibly confusing arc. Like, intentionally so. Fist of the North Star, right there. Oh my fucking god, he cuts his arm in half. Brutal. But he was like, I can't believe people didn't pay attention while reading. It's like, that one, that's pretty fucking confusing. That arc is pretty confusing. I don't think you can fault people for having misconceptions about it. That was one that even after rereading it, I was like, I'm still not 1,000,000% sure what just happened. And there he goes. To love and win is the best thing. To love and lose, the next best thing. Huh. Wow, everybody's crying. Look at that. Look at his big old honk nose. They should have kept him looking like that in the anime. That's honestly disappointing. And here he is talking after he's already just like 10 times over dead. Reminder, he's cut in half right now, and has been for this entire chapter, which admittedly only took a few minutes, or a few seconds even. But like, come on, how are you alive? You got cut in half and then aged to death. This is another one that looks like Joseph and Caesar, but it's really Jonathan and Dio. So I think a part of the reason why they changed the design up for Jonathan a little bit in the Part 1 anime is to distinguish him from Joseph. Oh, here's a good tongue moment. Great tongue ahead. Holy fucking shit. Again, more Part 1 insanity. Just, there's randomly a tongue demon, and then all of a sudden Dyer! Right! This guy! Another, like, pseudo-main character that does, like, one thing. My name is Dyer. Thundercross split attack. You fool! You fell for it! This is a meme for some reason. But, like, he's the disciple of Tonpetty, and then Straits is there too. Straits is actually, like, a little more relevant because he shows up in Part 2. But Dyer is just a... Dyer and Tonpetty are jokes of characters. Let's keep it real here. I need a lot of water. This is the first time... Oh. This is the first time I've done a stream where I'm basically just talking the entire time, so give me just a second to sip my water and get my breath. Take this time to reflect on how Tom Petty looks like the fucking turtle from Kung Fu Panda in this frame. Oh, yeah. Oh, this shit's brutal. The mother is like, please, you can kill me, but spare my child. And Dio's sitting there fucking crushing a cross in his hand. Also, that cross looks completely different in this angle. Whatever. I know he crushed it, but it's design-wise. Also, sick fucking panel. Holy shit. That's that shit you won't get in the anime. You will not see that in the anime. But then he's like, oh, you don't want me to kill your baby? Well, I'll just turn you into a vampire, and then you'll kill your baby. Literally, baby getting its fucking face torn off! That's about as extreme as the gore gets in terms of, like, horribleness. In Part 1. I forgot about that. Oh. Wait, what is this? There's like a meme here? This is our master Tonpetty, and I'm his disciple Dyer. And then Straight says, Asway, Amway, Iway. He's talking in Pig Latin, and then Tonpetty's talking in Wingdings? What the fuck is this? Why is this in the official, like, scans? I don't understand. Oh, and then Dio makes little fucking furry people! Oh my god. Again, like, we're approaching the end of Part 1, which is where, like, the batshit insanity reaches an entirely new level. Dio, with his vampire powers, he never does this again, by the way, makes fucking, like, cat birds and, like, people dogs. And people cats. Like, what the fuck? They just sort of gloss over this, but he's got people cats. Oh, and he's got a dude with snakes for a face. This is a guy with, how do I put it? Snake face. He's snake-faced. And then we got Jonathan catching all of the snakes between his fingers, which is fucking badass. And he beats his ass. One of the best panels in the entire series. I'm back from hell, Dio. One of the best, like, side-by-side Jojo Dio things, too. I love this panel. I've returned from hell. Alright, so there's more fucking, like, random goons. Are we gonna see the ones that are, like, the members of Led Zeppelin? Is that who these guys are? I think it is. Like, Plant, Page, James, and Bonham or whatever. I always forget the third Led Zeppelin guy. So we got Dyer using his fucking Thundercross split attack again. He's super sure that it'll work, even though Jonathan fucking like slapped it away earlier. And Dyer just dies like that. He fucking like spits a rose in Dio's eye when he's just ahead. That's the most badass thing that he does. And then he's just gone. And then Araki's like, yeah, that was a main character. It was Dyer. It was like proto Polnareff. Speedwagon. Oh, he's got the sword too. He's got the sword and he's got his father's ring. He's all equipped. Frog piss? Oh, I didn't even see the like context of that. Lower than frog piss! That's a good, just like out of context JoJo panel, though. Where are the four? Here they are. Paige, Jones, Plant, and Bonham. So these random four disgusting zombies are named after the members of Led Zeppelin. And that's like Araki's like favorite band ever. That is a wasted reference right there. On these random fucking goons. And they all just get destroyed instantly. By Straits. It's so fucking dumb. But it's hilarious. Just like shit just comes out of nowhere. There's another severed hand. Dio gets like slightly cut in half. This is some fucking oy vey. Some of the gore is a little hard to look at, although it's still very cartoony. We got this cool fight again, another good encounter with Dio. We're actually kind of reaching the end of part 1. This part made me squeamish in the anime, where he's just like fondling his artery. Like a lot of people call Jonathan boring, and he is kind of boring, but he's definitely not awful. Like this series, I think, starts off on a strong note and just gets stronger with every subsequent part, honestly. And look at this, Araki's always doing crazy shit with like surreal expressions and anatomy. Like Dio's face is cut in half, so he's only showing expression in half of it. The other half of his face is just like out of commission. He just fucking like slides it back together and goes chunk. Oh god, that's just so gross to think about, even just knocking your head back in place. Oh. And I think for most of the rest of the series, there are no Led Zeppelin references. There's one in part 8. There's a guy whose name and his stand name are both Led Zeppelin references. But I think literally like, except for Zeppeli's, I guess, who show up later as well. But beyond that, I can't think of any others. There might be a couple spare ones. Look at this fucking pose. Spinning. Spin. That's another great study of anatomy. Part 4, Stairway to Heaven, aka Made in Heaven. I don't even want to start on how wrong that is. You're thinking about Heaven's Door. It's a Bob Dylan song, I'm pretty sure. Or one of those artists that has like the same name. That I always get fucking confused. Alright, feel the beat of my hormone, whatever. Actually, I think that's something that Joseph says and not Jonathan. He fucking punches a hole through Dio's chest. These guys who are, again, just kinda here. In fact, how did Tom Petty even get here? I glossed over that, to be honest. Why is Tom Petty even here? I literally don't even get it. I bet they explain it. Oh my god! Fucking Space Ripper stingy eyes! The eye lasers. So, for those of you who don't know, this looks like he's just shooting a laser, but he's really shooting, it's supposed to be highly pressurized fluid from his eyes, body liquid. So it could be cum. Really. It was like his final hurrah attack before his body like disintegrated. There's another severed arm. I got that one in the video. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just catching up on chat. Oh yeah, this is also a meme for some reason, is Jonathan crying and saying Dio. We finally did it. This may be a bit overboard, but the world is saved. No, you literally did. Actually, the world isn't really saved. Because the whole Dio head thing is gonna happen. Which, holy shit, is such a can of worms. The Dio head Jonathan body thing. Oh my god. We'll get to that, though. So Dio cuts off his head, and his head is still alive. And this guy is helping him out. I forget that guy's name. It's some incredibly like stereotypical sounding name, like Wu Feng or some shit. And Araki's always doing this shit where he shows like scenery from around like the area where the part is set, and he does like little trivia and shit. This is more wrapping up the plot, but we had that earlier with like Windmill Lot or whatever, and that was a fake place, to be fair. But later on he does it with like real landmarks. Also, they fucking smash that like button. The fucking Speedwagon is the one to carry out the actual destruction of the thing. Now it's over. Our little secret, kind of. But it's not over yet. They're both holding Bibles. They are fucking set for Bibles. So everything's fine. Fucking there's a mysterious coffin being shipped on board the same ship where they're fucking sailing to America. But everything's fine. The coffin literally says Dio on the lock. Everything's fine. And Speedwagon's like, yeah, wholesomeness. And there's Tattoo. We got to see Tattoo one more time. And literally some people that I think we saw for like 2 panels. Actually, is that Poco's sister? I never even realized that, but she's there too. Alright. People are arguing about the Made in Heaven and Stairway to Heaven thing. I guess this is a brief... It's not really a Part 6 spoiler, but I guess cover your ears for like a minute if you're really worried about hearing a stand's name. But Made in Heaven is one of those stands where the first time it was shown, it had a different name. And then it was changed, like, the chapter after. There's a few stands that did that. I think there's one in Part 8 that originally was called Going Underground, and then it got changed to Born This Way. Stuff like that. So that's where the confusion comes from. Anyway. They're on the boat, Irina's crying. Irina really doesn't get a lot of characterization. She's just kind of like, oh, I'm here for the ride. I'm a broad in an early anime. Or early manga. Fucking Jonathan's like, wait, you're the literal, like, evil gremlin dude. Unbelievable. Oh, and we got this guy. Isn't this guy called, like, Styx or something? Yeah, Father Styx. Another, perhaps wasted reference. Because he's such a minor character. I forgot about this guy. Opening a coffin. Just a mysterious coffin? Yeah, no thanks. And I guess it shot out a bead and just instantly killed him. He fucking yeet! He fucking flings that shit open. And then, so here is one of the weirdest plot points in any fictional series I've ever seen. Dio needs a body. He's a head, and he says, I'm gonna make you give me your body. He's like, I'm gonna kill you, Jonathan, and then I'm going to steal your body and put my head on your body. That's his goal. And Jonathan's getting his shit shot out here. And Dio's in a little, like, Futurama, like, head jar, too. Which is hilarious, honestly. More just, like, random zombies, too. Fucking whatever. It's just more... A dude gets killed with a life raft, somehow. I guess there's the, like, super strength that they were showing earlier. I guess it does come into play. That's a cool panel. That reminds me of some Part 4 shit. So, it's kind of cool that this part ends... It ends on a sad note. Like, you know, I said spoiler alert already, but Jonathan fucking dies. I think that was a pretty badass move, and I think the whole, like, anthology structure for Jojo is a really, like, it's certainly nothing, like, completely unique, and it's definitely been done before. But it's something that, it was a really good idea, I think, like, having the first guy get killed off and then moving on to, like, the next in his lineage, you know? Somebody says, I'm looking at the very first page it's named. It's called Made in Heaven. Same with the chapter name. Is there any chance that that is a translated version and not the original release? Sorry to ask such a ridiculous question. But you might want to consider that that was edited in post for continuity and not the original release of the manga that you're reading. Anyway, so it's also kind of confusing. I think this leads to a lot of misconceptions about, like, the lineage. Is that there's a baby here, and Jonathan's like, yo, babe, save this baby. Because my mom died like that, saving a baby. Or whatever, or holding her baby. But also, Irina is knocked up right now. Like, she's also pregnant to, like, carry on the lineage, but they're also just stealing some random baby, essentially. Or rescuing, you know. So yeah, Dio is using his hair to, like, prop himself up on this bar, strangling Jonathan with his veins. Shit is insane. And Jonathan, I think Jonathan has a great moment at the end here where he's like, Dio, I always saw you as a brother. We had a weird friendship. Our fates are intertwined. They'll disappear together as the ship explodes. That's a cool... He was like, you know, we'll die together because clearly we were meant to clash all our lives. Dio tries to reason with him, but Jonathan was already dead. Rest in peace. And the fucking ship explodes. So this implies that somehow, like, while this is happening, Dio just yeeted both of them into the coffin. Somehow. Because, spoiler alert for later parts, I guess, Dio does have Jonathan's body later on. And they do explain it. Jonathan Joestar's life vanished into oblivion. His history was lost in the shadows, known to no one, except everyone who read this. Like, she's talking about the life inside my body. So she's got a baby that she just took, but they've also got a baby inside her. And now, let's see if I can even name all these guys. Like, you know, Jonathan Speedwagon, Poco's sister, Tom Petty, Jonathan's dad, George, or whatever. Zeppeli Straight's Dyer is on the last page for whatever reason. Danny, which I guess makes sense. And then is that Bruford, I think? Maybe? I don't know. Dyer is the one that I have the biggest issue with. Like, why are Dyer and Tom Petty on this screen? Like, what the fuck? Straits is a big... Like, Straits is almost as big as Jonathan, too. Like, what the fuck? And yeah, so Irina floats on the casket. Thus, the legend of the Stone Mask ends here for now, but that was also the beginning of a whole new era of adventure. And something that's kind of nice... this isn't really a Part 7 spoiler, but the end panel of Part 7 is sort of a reflection of this panel. It's a very similar thing in, like, the structure. In the sense that it's just a big ocean shot with clouds and light. Oh no. Look at this. One Piece quote says, oh no, and the other guy says, that's not a One Piece quote. Very astute. So anyway, yeah, that's it. That's the end of Part 1. So overall, this is a good part. It's not... Like, many people consider this the worst part or their least favorite. which I guess is fine, but it laid the groundwork for something truly magical. And I will talk about the rest of the series, and I think I'll save my thoughts on like the entire series as a whole for the end of this whole thing. But I don't know. It's humble beginnings, but it started off strong, I think. And again, it laid the groundwork for shit to come. Yeah, worst part doesn't mean bad necessarily. It's still a fucking insane, like, wild ride. But yeah, I'm struggling to even think. We're pretty close to the end of this stream. Any closing thoughts? I'll look through my meme folder. How about that? Let's look at some fucking memes. I actually don't have a lot for part 1. This is a good one. Classic. Classic meme. There's really not a lot. I showed you the grapes that make you get incinerated one. That was quality. Actually, you know what? Let's end it. Let's end it with a custom-made meme. Oh, I know it.jpg. Here we go. So, good part. You guys can expect I will be posting this on YouTube. I won't be posting this on my main channel. I kind of doubt that I'll do highlights, but I might fuck around with that concept. You know, I considered having music behind me when I was talking about this, but I was like, maybe if I want to make highlights, I would want to leave music out. And also, I mean, podcast style, usually podcasts don't have very prominent music, you know? But overall review, I don't know. I don't really give number ratings for things. But part 1 is definitely one of my least favorite, but again, that doesn't mean it's terrible. And it's fun to read through every once in a while because you forget just how sheer, like, insanity has always been a part of Jojo. It was never, like, part 1 isn't necessarily boring. It's just that it gets so crazy later on that part 1 kind of pales in comparison sometimes. What is your favorite part? It's hard to say. I honestly think they just get progressively better over time. Like, every time I read a new part or watched a new part, I was like, wow, that was better than the last one. I kind of feel like that's how it goes. Like, maybe some slight ups and downs as it goes, but, I mean, they're all good. They all have their strengths. But I guess, yeah, that's the end of my thoughts on Phantom Blood. This didn't take too long. Next time I'll talk about Battle Tendency, of course. And then Battle Tendency is roughly the same length, but then part 3 onward, I have no fucking clue how I'm gonna do that. I might have to reconsider the like structure of this whole thing while doing that. Maybe I'll do multiple episodes on the on the same part, you know. Best OP. I'll talk about it later. I guess I didn't really talk much about the anime for Phantom Blood, besides the changes to the appearances. But Sonochi is good. I played a chiptune of that at the beginning of the stream. It's like a classic. It's very cheesy, you know, and I like the 3D animated intros. They're really good. They look surprisingly good, the like 3D modeled ones. But I think later parts have even better intros. This one, it fits the tone of the part though. The like ridiculousness and like the camp and shit. Anyway, I've rambled long enough. I need like 10 drinks of water. I'm still adjusting to this format. But I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. This has been slightly experimental, so don't be surprised if the format gets changed up a little bit in the future. And I'll see you guys later today for Thomas Was Alone, probably. See you later.